Good evening, I'm Jeff Lyons. It is Monday night at 9 o'clock here on August the 25th. Time for the First Alert Weather Show at 9. We do these live every night at 9 o'clock to give you the weather before you head off to bed or other things, and also give you a chance to ask questions or make weather observation comments, whatever you like. You can do that by way of the 14 News Facebook page there in the comments section. All right, look at this. We have another clear night out there. We had some clouds this afternoon, but the big story, at least the big weather headline, is we may set some records over the next couple of days on the low end for a change. With the lowest temps tomorrow and Wednesday. We will have a gradual warm up as we move into the rest of the week. Let's play Jeopardy! Now today we had 54 degrees. That was nowhere even close to that record of 49. But tomorrow it starts to get interesting. We're forecasting 42 degrees, or 52 degrees rather, and the record low is 50. So some of you, especially out in southern Illinois, western Kentucky, out in the country, and southern Indiana too, could see that 50 degrees tomorrow morning, which would be the coolest temperature we've had since June the 1st was the last time we were in that kind of air. And then on Wednesday, a better chance that everybody will at least tie the record there of 51. That is our forecast low. It's also the record. So we'll play double Jeopardy tomorrow night, and then we'll do final Jeopardy depending on how the weather plays out. See how much you want to wager. Look at these dew points, right where we want them, in the 50s, even the upper 40s, and that means the air is very dry and capable of cooling quite a bit too to get down to those dew point numbers. For the remainder of the week, temps will start to creep back up a little bit, but not much. Lower 80s there. By early next week, the low end starts to come up as well with temps in the 60s. Still looking pretty bleak for rainfall potential. Nothing really showing through Monday on the GFS model there. The cooler air has definitely made some inroads here now into the upper two-thirds of the nation. The cool air extending down now to Nashville, Huntsville, and then back to the west. So this is bringing much welcome relief from the hot, humid summer stuff. And the good news is, and kind of the wild thing about this, is it's going to hang around all week, which it usually doesn't do. It hasn't done it about a dozen years here in the tri-state for this long and this cool. Current temps now range from the mid-50s to the mid-60s. Henderson wriggling in there with 57. Fairfield at 58, and let's see, we got Lewisport there at 61. Those are some of the cooler spots. Mount Carmel has 60 as well. And now our low temps are starting to push outside of the normal range there. Of course, our high was 10 degrees cooler than what we would normally expect. So we will see some yellow days here, at least Monday, Tuesday, and maybe Wednesday, meaning, excuse me, temperatures in the 70s. I got a snoot full of something today, and I've been sneezing ever since. I don't know if it's just dry or what it is. I was out, it's my fault. I stirred up a bunch of stuff. I was sweeping cobwebs. You know how they get all over, like we have a screen porch, and I mean, they were everywhere. So of course I, and now I'm coughing up the cobwebs. But anyway, enough of my problems. You didn't tune in for the aches and pains report. For tomorrow, or for August rather, of course, we're behind on rainfall by about 1.75 inches, and our temperature now trending to near, or it will be below normal if we continue this through the end of the week, which I believe we will. The outlook for tomorrow, temperatures return to the mid-70s in the afternoon after that chilly start. We had rain out here in the plains earlier, and you can see that's kind of withering here as it runs into the drier air. So not a lot of meaningful rainfall coming down. But rainfall nonetheless. Quick check here for no dramatic turnabout. It's still moving out to sea as a tropical storm and expected to weaken to a tropical depression by Wednesday. Thunderstorm chances not even on the radar, no pun intended here, for the week. And of course the outlook here from the Storm Prediction Center just goes out for 3 days. But anyway, we're fine on that. You probably figured that out already, but worth repeating that we have no severe weather concerns. High pressure will drop in and hang out for most of the week, And the end of the week, which is why it's going to stay cool and dry, it will basically block out any rain trying to come in. I am going to show you two models here. We're going to look at the GFS first, then we'll look at the European longer range for rain. And the interesting thing, at least this afternoon, now the GFS may have updated here. Let's see. I think it's the same one I looked at earlier today. All right, so no, it did update. All right, so now it's joining sides with the European and keeping us dry at least until Tuesday. Earlier today, it was showing some rain coming up from the south on Sunday night and Monday, the GFS was. The European was never showing rain through the weekend or the first day of next week. So maybe Tuesday for our next shot of rain. 52 tonight with clear skies, and then tomorrow we will bask in 77 sunny degrees. The extended forecast is dry, sunny, and cooler than normal all the way through the first half of next week. And we are in good company. Most of the eastern, almost half of the country, will stay below normal in the coming days here up through the 4th of September, and drier than normal too, at least for the Great Lakes and the Ohio River Valley. Our pet pick tonight, this is this is Princess. I think I'm blocking Princess there, but she's taking a little snooze there and keeping her eye on all the proceedings here on the weather show at 9. So thanks to Rick Waxler for that picture. And of course you can submit your pet pics. Best way to do it is over on 14news.com. Use the submit photos function and just throw it in. You'll see a bunch of other cat and dog and pet pictures in there too. We've got some cows and a snake, so check them out and add your own. All right, let's see who's on tonight. Laura Gray is in Dawson Springs. Hey Laura, glad to have you with us. Lacey Martin in there too, reporting from Henderson, heading up to Albion. Okay, well the weather's going to be good on all sides of all rivers, so you'll go through all 3 states, right? Well, I guess you could just do it through Illinois if you went, down to Shawneetown and up, but I'm guessing you're going to go through Evansville. Anyway, we got good weather everywhere. Ricky Brown's in there from Maceo. How you doing, Ricky? Glad to have you with us tonight, too. Cheyenne Hammond's with us just about every night. Hey, Cheyenne. Jeff Miller says 57 in Savaw. Windows open. Yes, it's free air conditioning. Free. So do enjoy that. I opened mine for a little bit, and just it was great to have that air moving in and cooling things down. William Raleigh's allergies are kicking in too. Yeah, so there's something out there to make us sneeze, I'm sure. Let's see. Prepare for, Lacey Martin preparing for the Maroons on Friday for Henderson County. Okay. Yep, it's going to be a good day for football on Friday. We are still showing a surplus of rain. John Radis wants to know. Well, and he's asking if we've used up that annual surplus of rainfall of 8 inches. And no, we haven't. We still, for the year, are ahead of normal on rainfall. The problem with that, and I'd like to kind of keep tabs on the annual rainfall, but the stuff that fell back in April, May, it's not still in the ground. All that's gone. So it doesn't really help us out. Even though we've had a wet year, we can have a dry month or two. And we talked about that, I think last week, we talked about a flash drought, which is just that, where you go, all year with rain and it's wet and everything, and then you get like month, 6 weeks, 2 months, no rain. And so, yeah, you still get the drought. It's just not as long-lived. So yes, I guess to answer your question, which is probably why you came here, to get your question answered, we are using up that surplus, but we still have 8 inches of extra out there. All right, Logan Copley is on from Wayne County, and we got Jeanette Rice, I think in Poseyville, feeling nice up there too. All right, let's see. I got a little science corner for you tonight. This issue came up a while back. It is not an issue now because the wind farms were canceled that were proposed up there in Gibson County, which happens to be where our Doppler radar is located, or at least the one that covers the majority of the tri-state, the Owensville radar. Now that thing sits on a 90-foot tall tower on a hill in Johnson, which is just out here to the west of Owensville, just a little bit. You kind of go down a numbered road. You know how the roads in the country are like County Road 480 or whatever. Anyway, it sits there, and of course, it scans the sky 24 hours a day, and the closer you are to the radar, the closer to the ground the beam is. The beam that comes off the radar is would look conical, like a cone. It propagates out in all directions, and of course, as it gets farther away from the radar, it gets higher in the sky because of the curvature of the Earth. And one of the things that came up when these wind turbines were proposed was, well, will that interfere with the radar? Well, yes, if they're close enough and tall enough, they would get into the radar beam and cause issues. So I think for that, a number of reasons, the wind farm wasn't scratched for up there. But it brings up a bigger point of how the radar works and why. And a couple things to remember about Doppler. First off, right up next to the radar, maybe this is a little big, but about a mile and a half all the way around, it has a blind spot. It can't see stuff because it's the rain or whatever's moving in too tight. And also right above the radar, which is really probably a better description, is why you can't see, because the radar can't go all the way up like that. As it gets out then, you get better coverage and better resolution. The radar itself can detect wind change, so the Doppler portion of it, which is wind direction and speed, out to about 80 nautical miles or so. And then beyond that, it can't really resolve the wind. It can still see precip. So when the radar is going around, it's looking for thunderstorms and things like that. And when it sees something, whether it's rain or hail or birds, insects, or wind turbines, whatever it happens to be, that object will return radiation or radar energy back to the radar and show a return on there. Now, in the case of wind turbines, if there were any in the path, they can cause the energy to return back to the radar and actually blind it to actual rainfall, which would be beyond. And there are examples of this all over the country. One in northern Indiana, there's a big wind farm up in Newton and Benton County. That would be up near Kentland, between Terre Haute and Chicago, basically, but it's up there. And so even though the radar is in, one in Springfield and one in Indy, they can see the tops of those turbines turning. And there are other locations in Illinois and then out in the plains where tall wind turbines have interfered with the operation of the radar. The Weather Service radar operations, they are constantly working on algorithms to try to kind of eliminate that interference, but still it can happen. So, but again, the good news is it's not an issue here in the tri-state at the moment, but just something to continue to think about. I'll check your questions one more time. We got Marilyn Donovan up in Lawrenceville. Okay. Darlene, what am I thinking about winter? Do I think it's going to be cold and snowy? Well, I'm flattered that you would ask. Given my performance last year when the four of us here in the weather department made our predictions for snow, and I wasn't even, we had 19.5 inches. I think I'd forecast 4 for the whole season. Byron won that. Maybe you should ask him. I don't know. I have a feeling that, we had a pretty harsh winter last year with the ice storm and all the snow. We're probably due for, a more normal winter for around here, which would be around 8 inches of snow or so for the whole season, and maybe milder temps. I'm just guessing. I haven't really looked at anything, but we can all wish together, right? All right. I think that's all I have for you this evening. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off here, and I will see you on 14 News at 10. And I will be back here. I'm actually doing the stream tomorrow afternoon because Arden will be here tomorrow morning on 14 News Sunrise. Please stay safe. Have a great night.